We are now talking to UMass tennis player Brittany Collens. What's going on, Britt?
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. How are you?
We're happy to have you. I mean, we're jumping for joy. I mean, Speedy is too. Look at him.
I can't jump in this room. There's a lot of delicate stuff.
Well, you look like you're about to eat your mic because you're covering your face. You look terrible, by the way. You got to bring that mic down so people can look at that beautiful, hairy face, right, Brittany?
It's so small on my screen anyways. I'm blind. I hardly see you guys anyways.
You see me, I'm here. Say hello. So Brittany, it's interesting. I saw that you wrote to us on Twitter, and I read, I was actually the one that read what you wrote. And then I reached out to our social media manager, and Jillian, and I told her, reach out to Brittany. I would love to get her on the show. Then I actually went through your Twitter and I read the story, the background of who you are and what happened to you and what the NCAA did to you. It's absolutely obnoxious what they did to you. Why don't you tell the fans on what they tried to pull on you and what they're doing to you and how much how far you've gone to fight this?
Yeah. Oh man. So I guess for me, this started about a month ago. I received a text from one of my coaches with kind of like a headline that UMass was in trouble for impermissible benefits. And I didn't think anything of it because you really don't hear much of women's tennis in the news. And as I clicked on it, I kind of read that I wasn't named, but it was 2 student athletes who had moved off campus, and I was one of them. There was really no other options, and found out that sometime in 2015-16, in my lump sum of scholarship money that gets directly deposited into my bank account, mistakenly there was $252 put in there for what is known as a telecom fee. And that's a stipend that is only entitled to students who live on campus, as it's, I don't want to say reimbursement, but it just covers the cost of a landline, like a phone jack. And there was some clerical error in which they didn't realize I moved off campus my junior year with another teammate of myself on my team. And yeah, unfortunately, UMass found this error, self-reported it, which that is the great part, is that they did come forward and said, we accidentally overpaid one of our athletes $252 and some infraction $504. And unfortunately, at first the NCAA said, that's great, thank you for coming forward, like, glad you guys caught this error. We're going to agree to a self-imposed fine of $5,000 and 1 to 2 years of probation. And that's great that the agreement, was done, until the Committee on Infractions came back and said, no, they need to vacate their seasons 2015 to 2017 because they had this on-court advantage, which is nuts, to say the least, and in the kindest way. So that night that I found out, I started a petition with my teammates asking, why, detailing all the reasons why this is so wrong on so many different levels. Clear abuse of power here by the NCAA and not protecting their student athletes. So it's kind of, made its way. Been talking to a lot of great media outlets, having support from people like Dick Vitale and many more. So that's kind of where we are today, trying to work with senators in Congress to see if we can really push this thing farther and, kind of demand answers from the NCAA, not just for us, but for collegiate athletes in general.
First of all, and by the way, we are talking to Brittany Collens, UMass tennis player. To me, I believe college athletes should be paid. I've been saying this over and over again. Somehow, if they want to sign autographs and go out there and sign their own autographs to their jerseys, they should be paid for that. I don't understand why the NCAA will drive sanctions at the school or to the player if they find out you're making some money. That makes absolutely no sense, by the way. It doesn't make any sense. I remember, 10 years ago, USC was sanctioned because I think it was Reggie Bush taking money, and Pete Carroll was doing something, and that's why Pete Carroll went to Seattle, and they took away their championships. And then Louisville, they were doing something on the side, and they took away their championship, Louisville basketball. So, I don't understand these sanctions that the NCAA is trying to do. Now, they're making millions and millions of dollars. Am I right? They're making millions of dollars.
Yeah, I think they make $1 billion. And I think it's even more than that, to be honest, which is wild to say out loud.
So they're making millions and millions of dollars off you athletes. Okay, you're talking about a ball game in college football. Every ball game that they play, the college is making $30 to $40 million. And in NCAA basketball, every round that a team goes to, they make an extra $10 million. $10 million. Wow. So I don't understand. And this is to me completely appalling that a college student who didn't even know that she got $252 in her account, and being that it was direct deposit, why would you be? I don't even look at my direct deposit. Seriously, who looks at their direct deposit? I mean, I bought something the other day and then I returned it. Do you think I went looking back if I got $6 or $7 back on my direct deposit to me? No, I didn't. I don't care about $6, $7. So why would I care to know that I had $252? All I'm going to say is I got $1,000 in my bank account and I'm going to spend 200 of it. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's not something that anyone would have picked up on because it fluctuated by really small amounts depending on books that year or, whatever, cost of attendance was. So unless I emailed the school and said, can I have a complete breakdown of what I'm getting paid for, which is honestly really unusual for anyone to do, then I wouldn't have noticed it. And to be honest, if I did get a breakdown and I saw a telecom fee, I would have thought I was entitled to it. So there is no way of really knowing, and it is such a small, undetectable thing, to be honest.
So I want to ask you, because again, your case is very specifically with your team, and also was the men's basketball team that year. I think it was like I said earlier, I think combined 12 athletes or something total. And do you think the NCAA has some unfair treatment or particular biases when looking at these kinds of scandals? Because we see, like Errol will say, you saw Louisville get really hit hard, you saw USC hit hard, but then there's a team like Kansas basketball a couple years ago with them having illegal recruiting issues with Sylvia D'Souza, and I forget the other guy's name, that they tampered with. Obviously, you saw Sean Miller, DeAndre Ayton, that whole incident, paying them $100,000. Do you think there's a particular bias that goes around with different sports, different players, and obviously different schools? Yeah,
no, great question. Absolutely. This is one of our, biggest points. One of the fact that the NCAA says that their, main goal is to protect student athletes is, excuse my language, kind of a load of crap, because they look the other way, just as you've mentioned, when it's the schools that are making them millions, but they go and try and set an example out of UMass tennis and UMass basketball, kind of not a small state school, but one that doesn't really bring in a lot of revenue, compared to the other schools. So it's clearly, I think that's kind of our biggest problem, is that the NCAA is both the judge, and the rule maker. So they don't really have anyone to answer to, so they can turn a blind eye, when it comes to who's going to keep making them revenue. So really glad you asked that question. That's one of our main points. And, we want explanation for, why we're doled out the harshest punishment, really possible, when they have really reserved vacating seasons for the most major offenses done with intent. And obviously this was a minor offense done without intent.
They should be answering to us, and they will be answering to us, because we are the press. And to me, that's the only people they're going to listen to, because it doesn't matter to the parents, to the athletes. They're going to do whatever the hell they want. That's what the NCAA does. They don't care about the students. They care about the money that goes into their pockets. It's all political. It's all political. So unfortunately, students like you and schools like UMass are getting attacked. You cannot take away wins. You can't take away championships, because your rules, they break your rules. I mean, there are so many people, there are so many athletes that have broken the rules and never got caught. Never got caught.
Yeah.
But because they're football players, like you were saying, because they're professional, they're going to be the next professional. You remember the story with Memphis and Derrick Rose? Derrick Rose was cheating. They were cheating on tests. He wasn't going to classes. They were practically passing him through. So, because they knew that he was going to be the number one pick in the draft, and he was going to take Memphis all the way to a national championship. And that's why they did it. And what did Derrick Rose? It eventually came out. Did they do anything to Derrick Rose? Did they do anything to Memphis? The answer is no, they didn't do anything. They did absolutely nothing. So again, I agree with you. I think the NCAA, they attack other sports or schools that are smaller than the big schools because they're trying to make a statement. They're trying to say, you see, look what we did to them. If you don't stop it, we're going to do it to you, which I think is ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, really kind of shameful, and hopefully, we can get that changed in some way. Like you said, credit to you. It's so awesome to be talking to a number of media outlets, because trying to get, as much awareness out there that these things happen is so important to making change. And then we can get, the attention of, the politicians, and say like, hey, like this is really what's going on. And it starts with the media reporting on, kind of the unfortunate events that have kind of brought us here.
Do you think there's anything specific that the NCAA, in terms of a rule or in terms of maybe a different way of approaching it, can deal with these specific payments? Because like in your case, it's very specific with that type of phone, for example, that's only supposed to be used in on-campus living, like something specific like that. The term that was used in an article I was reading, there's stipend, something like that. Do you think there's anything specific they could do it with different cases? Because I'm sure there's many different things, especially now with all the technology available and more accessibility to certain things outside of campus. Do you think there's specific rules that can make a difference in terms of that change, or maybe something with the scholarship itself, the athletic scholarship, that can be changed?
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of in like a two-part answer. One, starting with myself, that stipend actually got discontinued that 2015-16 year. So it doesn't even exist, the year after yet. I'm still vacated for that season, even though it didn't exist anymore, which is really interesting. But I mean, I think the first rule in regards to UMass tennis, if a student athlete, like, if something as minor as this doesn't, or collegiate athlete doesn't have awareness, and they can prove that there was no athletic advantage on the field, then the schools should be the ones kind of taking the punishment. And as our athletic director has so kindly stated multiple times, Ryan Bamford, like the school was at fault here, so the school should be the ones taking the punishment with larger fines or longer probations. The collegiate athletes should be really left out of it. And just kind of including me in the investigation, not once was I ever contacted. If they asked me if I still had that $252, well, my bank account has never gone below that, so I could just give it right back. So to say I had an athletic advantage is kind of crazy, but they wouldn't know that because they've never asked me. And then in a broader sense, to your question, I think there needs to be larger not rules, I would say really bills that give power back to collegiate athletes, so that they have somewhere to go, like an independent organization that can actually defend them in situations like ourselves, because really we don't have anywhere to go. The people we answer to are the people making the rules, which I know I said before, but that's really kind of the biggest problem. So, whether that be, paying athletes or, collective bargaining agreements, so that, some sort of power dynamic shift can happen. That's really what's important here.